Andrew Tate is easily one of the most divisive characters to have come out of social media in the last few years. We've been seeing a few comments where people obviously see us as business owners and they think that we're immediately Andrew Tate lovers, sympathisers, and just want to set the record straight. There's a few things that we obviously will agree with him on, a few things that we definitely disagree with him on. Find out what we think about Andrew Tate in today's episode.
He's a twat.
I think a good way for us to start, or for me to start the episode, is always with the overlying thought that I have towards anyone that I've never met, and is that I don't judge a book by its cover, and I will never judge someone based off of the thoughts and opinions of others. Until I have met someone in person and formed my own opinion and feelings around them, I don't judge, because it works both ways. First of all, I'm not a sheep. So I'm not going to listen to somebody else going, oh, he's a bad person, you shouldn't like him. And I'm like, well, who are you? How do I know you're not a murderer? But you're the one you're sat there on your high horse trying to tell me who to like and who not to. And you're not going to sit there and tell me, you're going to just think that you're a great person, aren't you? Because I suppose everybody in their own head is a good person. I'm sure Jeffrey Dahmer thought he weren't doing anything wrong. It is true. And at the end of the day, like, people are coming up forward and saying, he's this, he's that. And this is where I just get to this point now with everyone where they feel like they've got free reign to just think that they're self-righteous, and they see one person who's got notoriety do something they don't like, and immediately they're allowed to cast aspersions and say that they're the worst person in the world. The reality is, who are you? So I don't listen to people when it comes to forming opinions. I always form my own. I like to sort of not prejudge. Now, obviously, the caveat to that is if they are a convicted...
comes out his own mouth.
If they are... No, if... Well, yeah, exactly. But again, even that has a nuance to it. But my caveat to that is, well, if you never met Adolf Hitler, does that mean you don't like him then? Or like, and I'm like, well, obviously not. Like, there's obviously going to be exceptions to that rule where there are convicted felons and people of the time that are obviously...
No, I need a meeting with you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm immediately going to say, yes, I disagree with everything it stands for, but fundamentally, because of social media now, and because of the provocative nature of a lot of people on social media, especially Andrew Tate, who I guarantee does 90% of what he does and 90% of what he says is purposely provocative to get idiots online to start pissing their pants and really getting them upset, so they comment on his video, share it, view it, talk about it, because he's saying provocative things. That's exactly why he's doing it, and everyone is falling into this trap and will continue to fall into the trap for as long as time, because humans cannot help themselves. And if we purposely mistitle the name of this video, purposely, and people do it and they'll miscomment and they'll mistype things or misname people immediately, their first thing is, what does everybody do? Ha, idiot, doesn't even know how to spell. Ha, that's not how you spell it, because we are just that way inclined. I do it. We're all inclined to correct each other because we just think that
it makes us feel better about ourselves, because we're like, we can push our opinion on it. I mean, my opinion's always been very completely the same. Out of the things that come out of his own mouth, I agree with some of it and I disagree with some of it. I take a pragmatic approach with anyone. It's like, I don't really agree with, some of the things that he's done and some of the stuff he says about women and stuff, and I'm just like, you're going way too far afield with that stuff. But then I do agree with, you need to man up, you need to work hard, you need to get in the gym, you need to push, and you need to be a provider and build yourself up to be someone who can give back to the world. Maybe not in the form of, OnlyFans studios
or human trafficking
or human trafficking,
alleged human trafficking.
Yeah, those alleged ones aren't great, but he's about building yourself up to be a man or a good citizen who's going to give back. And it's like, I don't know how anyone can argue with that messaging, because it's just common sense. It's like, well, obviously that's what we need.
I know it's definitely echoing what the general landscape has become now, where there is this toxic masculinity trait where everything that a man does nowadays is vilified, and it's unacceptable for for a man to talk about how he finds a woman attractive and have that chat with their mates. And we all do it with men, and that's now toxic. You can't do that. Men going to the gym and being strong and being protective, that's now not allowed. You're not allowed to open doors and be chivalrous. That's not allowed because there's this equality. And I think the one thing that obviously has been a pendulum swing where it did go very far left, and now it's kind of swung back and it's in the middle. And I think that's where whenever you get one extreme, another extreme pops up. And that extreme is Andrew Tate. He is the extremity of that toxic masculine person who is putting out that type of content to get people to either massively align with it because nobody else is leaned into that masculinity. So there's a role model for people that haven't got let's say a masculine role model to look up to. But then because of the people on the far left, he's kind of embodying that masculinity with I suppose with a lot of young men, what they see is the money, the women, the cars, the lifestyle. And they think, they think he can fight. He's done loads of things throughout his lifetime and successful guy. And people want to emulate that. But then on the left, on the other side, where you've got people saying, he's a misogynist, he's this, that, and the other. And those are also all true and valid opinions. But for me, I don't like to form that opinion until I've met someone. But so going off of what he does say, I'm with you. Like, I genuinely agree with a lot of what he says about masculinity. And I think he is a force for good in that sense. Obviously, then he recognises that to keep his relevance and to stay relevant is an incredibly difficult thing in today's day and age. And even now we've noticed that his relevance has dipped off a little bit compared to where he was a couple of years ago.
Most Googled man he was.
Exactly. Whereas that's now dipped off. So to stay relevant is very tough. And so to do that, you need hate and you need haters and you need people to comment and get pissed off. And so he just absolutely just dangles the bait. And he's just going fishing with everyone, and they're just opening their mouths and getting hooked and commenting, sharing, talking about it. And I think
he's an expert at it as well. He's literally unbelievable at cultivating the attention. And I think as well, he's got so much of this attention because the world has just feminized men. And they've just said, oh, you need to be like them. Oh, open up with your feelings and open up with your this, and you don't want to be nasty to so and so. And it's like, it's not inherently what men are like, and it's not what they're about. And when you've feminized them to such a level, someone that then turns around, someone who then pops up who's like the complete opposite and goes too far the other way, people then look at it and go, no, I could see that point. Because they've been beaten up and can't give an opinion. It's like, no wonder he gets so much attention.
I think for good reason. I think people care, and male suicide and male mental health is obviously really suffering at the minute. But I think then women, because they are naturally caring, try to come and apply their way and their method of improving that level of mental health. But it's not, women will never understand how a male's mind works, just as a man would never understand how a woman's mind works, because we all know when a woman's having a problem, men come steamrolling in and offer it and try to add logic and try to add, and they're feeling a certain way about something that's happened, and men will come in and go, well, just do this. What's your problem? I don't get what the big issue is. Just here's a solution, 1, 2, 3, do it, and then you're all good. And they're like, but that's not how I feel. I can't do that. And you've just completely not understood or not listened to me. But then it works the other way, where men are suffering with their mental health and they're going, well, you just need to be able to let your feelings out and have a cry. And it is fine for men to cry, and it is fine for men to do that and talk about their feelings 100%. But the way we do it is very
Go to the
different.
gym,
Yeah,
something
where
like that.
the way we handle that is very
Teammates.
different. I saw I saw something where there was a group of lads playing on a sort of first person shooter. It might have been Call of Duty, and they were rinsing each other. I mean, the one took the piss, saying that he was suffering with his mental health, and the other one, the first lad, said something like, "Oh," he goes, "Well, if you," he said something along the lines of like, "Well, if you do it, can I have your Xbox or something?" And he was like, "If you do it, can I have your watch collection?" And they're just rinsing, and then he's laughing. Now, obviously, if you listen to that conversation, certainly women would go, "That's disgusting. That's one of the worst things I've ever heard." But that's how men sort of create that bond with each other. That's just banter. That's how we feel better about things, by making a joke and lighthearted and talking to our mates, taking the piss. But then if a woman was to see that in a group chat or see that on a video,
horrified.
they'd be like, they'd be thinking like, he needs to go to jail, these lot. And
Yeah. Well, you see it especially, and I found this so funny, the distinction. I don't think it really happens as much anymore. But you know, when you get like, say, a lad's holiday and a girl's holiday, and they get the T-shirts, and it's like a comedian. I think it might have been Mickey Flanagan or someone like that. And then you got like the male T-shirts, and I know because this has happened to me myself. I'm not going to disclose what my T-shirts or anyone else's T-shirts were.
I remember.
I know you do, but you know, it's like absolute bullshit. Like some of these, like, you know, Mr. Unclean, and like some of these like really horrible. I mean, they were worse than that for me, but you know, there was some bad ones. But anyway, but then you get like a girls group, and it's like, you know, again, the comedian's like some big hunk of ham, and it's like angel eyes or something like this. And it's true because, again, there's just men and women are just very different. I mean, I only found out the other day. I mean, this might just be me. I mean, it's kind of obvious when I thought about it. I didn't really think about it, but men's cycles in terms of their, you know, mental cycles with their hormones and things are like 24 hours, whereas a woman is literally a full month. So it's like, you know, they're different every single day, and there's different points that for an entire month, and then you just see it on a graph. Funnily enough, I saw it on the Whoops, comparing it with me and my missus, and it's like a man's like this, like over a month, and the women's like literally like this throughout the whole month. And, you know, again, no wonder it's all very different, because we're just completely cognitively different.
I think we just try and apply a one size fits all, isn't it? And that's the issue, isn't it? Everyone's different, and everyone is their own unique person, and everyone's trying to create this one type of narrative. I wish we could get back to some level of individuality. And yeah, Andrew Tate's got extreme opinions about women, but there's a place for him. There are women that fully agree, and I've seen, and you can't say, well, that's not true. Go and watch some videos, because there are loads of women out there that go, I would really like being with a man that has those opinions. There's a what's the sort of expression? There's a peg for every hole or something.
A glove for every hand.
Yeah, that works. Anything like that, you know, there's always a little sort of matching jigsaw piece that fit together, and there's always, for that, there's a woman that will like him and there's a woman that doesn't, and that doesn't matter. Who cares? Like, obviously, the bit where I can see is the issue is because he's got such a big following. Obviously, they did the series, what was the name of that series with that young boy where he'd killed a fellow student at school? It's on Netflix with Stephen Graham, Adolescence. And they brought Andrew Tate into that, saying that he's sort of glorified this level of violence towards women, and that because of his, clearly what we can see as adults, which we see as a joke, or we see it as purposely being provocative, and knowing that he probably doesn't mean what he's saying, it's less likely for someone who's younger and not as cognizant to it. They believe fully what they're hearing, and when they see a role model talking about things like that, and the way he talks about women, then you kind of can see how that can be taken further. But again, there's people doing that in rap songs, there's people doing that in music, people doing that all over.
And then you've got just other subjects that get pushed as well. Like, you could argue some of the, you know, especially in America, where they were pushing puberty blockers and things on kids, that they were, you know, they just say, oh, I feel like I'm, you know, in the wrong bodies, or I like wearing a dress. And they're like, well, there you go. Well, you need to take that. And now it's like, well, which is more extreme? You know, like you're pushing opinions on people, like in schools, and you know they're both extreme and they're both wrong, really. But the problem is we've come to this point where we've lost all sense of the middle. You've got like your one camp and your other camp, and we're a lot more pragmatic, where we can kind of acknowledge that, you know, you got to be somewhere in the middle. Like, and there's bits that are good on that side, there's bits that are good on that side. You got to be, you know, in the middle.
I just take I like to think, a smart and intelligent approach to him as a person in general. And that if he was running a huge criminal enterprise and he was actually a bad person, then why would he spend so much time trying to garner attention online? Now, look, I get in the past you've got, and I know it's very different, but Pablo Escobar, who was obviously a huge drug kingpin and cartel leader, and again became a celebrity through what he'd done, and at some point was going to try, I believe he nearly became or did become the sort of prime minister or involved in government politics within Colombia at a time. And I suppose you would ask, well, if he was running a criminal empire, you'd try and keep things under wraps. That's sort of the counter to my argument. But I truly believe that if he was really let's say, an international crime lord, then he probably wouldn't be doing as many videos as he is, and being as so in the media as he is. So I think there's that side to it. I think obviously everybody then just immediately jumps to conclusion. People want to believe, when somebody doesn't like someone, they want to believe that they're the worst person in the world. So any negative press that they hear, they just get so hoodwinked into actually believing anything.
It's information bias, isn't it? I think even, you know, Rick and Morty, I think he even says it, I can't remember the quote, but he's like, everyone wants someone that they like to be right, and that's why everyone that is like really nice is an idiot, or something along them lines, which obviously is not fully true, but it's like, you know, it's the right line of logic.
It is a good point, and I do fully agree with it, and I believe that is the problem, that people nowadays, especially with social media and news, and everybody's minds are being moulded in constantly at all points in time, and I think everybody now just believes so quickly what they hear, and they see a news article on the page, and they, instead of actually digging and doing any research into it, I remember obviously there was a certain cough virus that was going around, and everybody ended up believing certain things that then became debunked. And you see it in the news, and then they try to peddle a news story, and then something gets debunked, and everything changes. So people are too quick to believe things nowadays, and if it suits their narrative, they'll use that as an argument. And I like to just be completely unbiased in the middle, and I'll say, look, yeah, I can see the point on this side, I can see the point on this side, here's my opinion in the middle. And I generally like to think that that's the best way, rather than having extreme views on anything. Because, again, I can't remember who it was. It was a really famous quote that's saying, you know, you're talking about politics, and you're saying that you're less likely to be destroyed by people on the opposition and more likely to be destroyed by the extremists in your own party who hold those views, who will bring your own party down quicker than the opposition ever could. Because they're the people with extreme opinions on anything are dangerous, because they're extreme in nature, and it's as simple as that. And when you're holding those extreme views, it's a dangerous place to be, because you, like you said, you only have to look at history to see who has held extreme views in the past and the damage that it's caused.
And I think sometimes people pretend that they kind of have these views to garner the attention at the time. The real dangerous ones are the ones that actually believe what they're saying. Like, you know, like Hitler. Do you know what I mean? He actually thought he was doing the right thing, and that's why he pushed on so much, because he was like, this is the right thing to do.
I don't know what the accent was way off.
I don't know what he actually sounds like.
No, the accent was way off. But like I said, nobody that's evil thinks they're evil. And if they do, then I think if somebody is consistently doing bad things, I think sometimes I've seen videos, you watch these documentaries and they are aware they're doing bad things, and sometimes they just can't help it, where their brain's wired or whatever. And most people that are evil don't think that they're evil, do they? So that's the reality. But with Andrew Tate, I think, again, the one thing that I will give him is his ability to garner attention. He's a marketing genius, his ability to make money and utilize a platform to monetize it and to then get people to buy into what he's selling, because he's bought the domain for a website, university.com, however many millions he's paid for that, but he literally owns university.com. Incredible purchase, because again, it's going to hold its value for a very long time, probably going to make good money on the sale of that. It's an asset if he ever wants to sell it. Really good for money, and people can't really take it off him, so it's an intangible asset. Obviously, as he's seen in the past, where police turn up to his house, raid it and take all his belongings very simply and very quickly, he realised that actually the assets that you own aren't yours. They can very easily be taken away from you.
I bet you'd prefer Bitcoin a bit more now and on his cold storage wallet, but you wish you had more in that.
I think he still had a lot in it, but it's one of those, once you've understood how to make money and you know how to do it and it's up here, you can have everything taken off you anyway and you'll still be able to make it again. That's the beauty of earning your own money and not just winning the lottery or inheriting it, because once you've learned how to do it and you know how money works and you know how business works and how value works, you're going to be able to do it again. Whereas if you just get given £10 million, if it then gets taken off you, all of your assets in 3 years, you're not going to know how to make another 10 million. So it's, again, he's been able to, I mean, his car collection now it's a dream. He's got some absolute heat in that collection. He's got Rimac Nevera. He's just bought a Jesco, a Koenigsegg. He's got loads of Lambos, Aston Martins. It's an absolute collection. And, you know, I respect somebody that has been able to garner the attention, build from nothing, and become a success. Now, what I don't respect is this opinions on relationships and women, but again, they are also his opinions. I've got a little daughter. Would I want her to date someone like him? No, obviously not. No chance, because he's just not, his mindset and the way he works, as much as that's how he feels and that's how he thinks, that's completely up to him. He's entitled to think that. But I don't think it's conducive to a happy family. I don't think it's conducive to being able to give, like my daughter, using her as an example. She's only 18 months old. So no,
she's got a while.
No dating for her ever. No, certainly not for a while. But I just wouldn't want her to be in that situation. I want someone to respect her and to love her and to be with her and be kind and do all of that, rather than having somebody shout sort of bitches and hoes into the microphone and saying all this about women. I just think it's disgusting. So as far as, and then the final caveat to that is, obviously he has been alleged to have committed several crimes. And as I said at the start of the video, my opinion on people remains unbiased until I meet them and form that judgment myself. But if he is found guilty, of course I'll hold him to that and I will change my opinion of him. But again, it's innocent until proven guilty.
I mean, it is quite mad. I mean, and again, I look at it like, I know he's in jail in Romania, but it's like, how they still not locked the man up? Like, still, like in the UK or like in the US or whatever, they've still not been able to lock him up.
Well, I think that goes to show, doesn't it?
A bit mad. I'm like, if he is this person, can you not just put him in jail? Like, we don't want him on the streets. But if he's innocent, then let the man live his life.
I get, but that's the point, isn't it? It's like, if he was as obviously guilty as they make out, or as certain people that hate him make out, he's definitely done this. If he has done it, then he needs to be punished severely, 100%, and he needs a punishment befitting of the crime. But there is also a lot of, let's say, boy who cried wolf stories out there now, where you see a lot of people who see these celebrities. I remember it happened to Justin Bieber, and he was, thank God, there was videos of him sort of elsewhere, but this woman gave a chilling account of how she'd been abused by him, and he had really good receipts and a really good alibi to show that he wasn't even in anywhere near that location. But immediately, social media went everywhere, and everyone was like, this is disgusting. We always knew he was like this. We always knew he was this way. Like, no one like that could be so, good and so kind-hearted. He's been changed. He's a rapist. He's this, that, and the other. And it's like, immediately there's proof to say otherwise. And it's like, oh yeah, no. Well, that's not true. Yeah, no, we never believed it. I'm like,
yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo happened to him as well in a nightclub with someone else accused him. It's like, I mean, I'm sort of changing it a little bit, but they did kind of discuss it in their podcast. But it was when Andrew Tate and Bonnie Blue had the podcast episode, and they discussed some of these topics. And I did you watch all of it?
I love that podcast.
So funny. And it was just, she was like, what did he say? He goes, you are the thing, like, we've reached peak woke. This is what peak feminism, peak woke is.
100%.
You can do what you want, with who you want, whenever you want, and no one should be able to say anything. And then when they kind of get there and they are doing exactly what they want, it's like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. Like, what? So it's like, it's fine as long as it fits your narrative of what you believe, the promised lands is.
I'll go back to what I said earlier. You are not going to be downed by your opposition, but by the extremists that you have in your own party and your own side of the argument. And Bonnie Blue is the extreme in that side of the argument. She is a 100% embodying feminism, my body, my choice, what I decide to do. Fair play to her. Good for her. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I think she's going to have a problem. I think it is distasteful. I think she's going to have a problem with it morally as she grows up and realizes that money and the notoriety is of very little
high price
value. Well, I think it's a very little value. I think there's only so much happiness that you can derive from having a car or a house or a holiday. I think that starts to dry up. I remember Dan Bilzerian talking, and he gave a really good account how, if you imagine, he's now, happiness for him is so diminished because he's achieved everything, done everything, anything a human can do as a guy anyway, and a really masculine guy. So talks about obviously being with the best looking women, going on the best holidays, driving the best cars, private jets, best houses, yachts, all of that. He's done it. And for him, regardless of how he got his money, because there's stigma around that, he's done it. And he says now for him, happiness, because the bar has been set so high, for him to achieve a 10 out of 10 happiness, where if something was to happen, a stimulus, he would just go, yeah. Whereas other people would go, that would be my dream.
Yeah.
And he's just nonchalant towards it. And he said that, imagine you've got an 18-year-old or a kid who's just turned 18 and he gets given a Ferrari for his birthday. He is a 10 out of 10 happy, ecstatic, over the moon. He turns 21. He's got his Ferrari, and for his 21st birthday, he gets given a BMW M5. Beautiful car. But he's probably going to think, 7 out of 10 happy. I've got a Ferrari. It's a BMW. I'm not that bothered. Now, reverse those situations around, and obviously that doesn't apply to everyone, but reverse those situations around. He is a 10 out of 10 happy getting his BMW M5 for his 18th. 10 out of 10 happy again to get his Ferrari. But then obviously the levels just keep going higher. What's next after Ferrari? Is it a Lambo? Is it a Koenigsegg? Is it a Bugatti? Where'd you go from there? Is it then you need to get a yacht? What after that? A jet? And then you've got that. It's like, well, what's next? And you're always a better jet, a bigger jet. And you're always chasing that next thing. And I think humans do have that inherent need or desire to keep growing and reaching for more.
Ended up landed on the moon.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it is a good thing. But there is that inherent sort of block on happiness then if you derive your value from tangible things like cars and lifestyle. So with Bonnie Blue and that Andrew Tate interview, she's destroying her value, I think, personally, as a woman, where she's going through all of this chaos.
Everyone.
Well, she's going through everyone.
I think that's the problem.
She is going through everyone. No, Bonnie, you're not coming on Brothers in Business podcast, or anywhere near us. But the point is, she's now going to sort of devalue herself. The novelty of the money will wear off, and she's probably going to feel pretty shit in herself when she looks back, tries to have a family, and thinks, I have done some heinous things to achieve this money, to achieve this car, house, lifestyle that I'm now not that bothered about.
And it's a kid's, oh, mummy, why do we live in such a nice house? It's like, well, I'll tell you when you're older. It's just, yeah.
But that's crazy. The thing with kids. She won't tell her when she's older. They will know. They will find out immediately. And she might not have kids. And look, I'm back to a live and let live kind of scenario. But with what Andrew Tate did on that podcast masterfully, and again, he's an intelligent person. And if you don't like him, and if you don't like anyone, that doesn't mean that you can't still give them their flowers. And everyone's good at something. And regardless of whether you like Andrew Tate, think he's a misogynist, even if he is a criminal, if he is, yes, obviously he deserves to be punished and sent to jail, but he is still, regardless of anything, a savvy businessman, great at marketing, and there's still things you can learn from him. That's just a fact. And some people nowadays are too busy throwing hate, and when they should be learning, they should just be looking at people and actually saying, right, well, I don't like the guy or I don't like the girl, but what can I take away from them? What can I learn and use it for myself, either what to do or what not to do, and then actually apply that to your own life and see if you can get any benefit from it.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it, I mean, someone on the other side of the spectrum, I think Keir Starmer's a wanker. But I can still look at the guy and go, well, he's not an idiot, because, chief prosecutor, and he's managed to get the top job in the whole of the UK. I'm like, well, I mean, he's a knob, obviously, but like, fair play to him. He's obviously not an idiot. He's obviously got something about him which has allowed him to get there. And it's about being pragmatic with some of this stuff and go, well, I don't really like him. I don't believe in anything that he says, but, fair play to him because of where he's got and what he's done. Same with Andrew Tate. Take a bit more of a pragmatic approach. Don't agree with that. Agree with that. Go somewhere in the middle.
So Keir Starmer sounds like Brian Badondi, but fair play to him for getting himself in the Prime Minister's position. I rate it. I think that's us for Andrew Tate. I think again, just try and be. I think everyone. Just try and be a bit more open-minded towards what you're seeing, what you're hearing. Understand that people are out there trying to change your minds, trying to set narratives, trying to create opinions for you. Just use your own head, use your own thoughts, and use your own opinions and create them yourself. Don't prejudge people. Wait until you've actually met them, and then actually from there you can form your own opinions. So I think Mr. Tate, we'll see how it goes. I mean, you could be in for a rough few years.
Yeah, get your news from different sources. Don't just watch the BBC or don't just watch ITV or something and just say, because you've seen it on that one programme, that there is the only narrative. Look at other things and watch a podcast of him and then form your own opinion.
Stop being sheep. Please, for the love of God, form your own opinions of people after you've met them. Do not prejudge. Yes, Andrew Tate has got a load of reasons for you to hate him, but he's also got reasons for you to listen and agree with what he says. And I think everybody needs to get back to a point where we can look at people and take a pragmatic approach and understand that we're going to agree with some of the things they say and we're going to disagree with some others. But you don't need to immediately vilify and cast stones at every single person, because no one is perfect. And those in glass houses should not throw stones. But remember, like and comment if you disagree or agree with anything that we've been saying in today's episode. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next one.